Welcome, all you lovers of drag. It's time yet again for another thrilling, exciting installment of, you guessed it, Gagging for More. Coming at you live every Saturday night at 4 p.m. Pacific Time. That's 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Get Real Global TV and Get Real Global Radio, KGRL. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel, Get Real Global TV. We're also Get Real Global TV on Twitch and TikTok. And you can also check out our Linktree page to see all of our social media and website links. Just type in at Jennifer DeVoe Muse. You can also check out our radio station, Get Real Global Radio, KGRL, on Spreaker. And we're also syndicated on iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube Music, TuneIn, SiriusXM, Pandora, Amazon Music, Audible, Apple Podcasts, plus pretty much everywhere else you can watch or listen to podcasts. We're also distributed by those nutty people at Sony Music Entertainment, Sony Music Publishing, The Orchard by Sony, and 50/50 Global Music Incorporated. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Jennifer DeVoe Muse. Hello to everyone watching or listening to this broadcast around the world. We're going to say hello to T-Doggaroonie, aka Tashina Saunders, my co-host in crime here. How's it going?
Pretty good. Silent giggles speaking.
Silent giggles, woo! I forgot to give you the honor and respect that you deserve. Silent giggles. Oh, there's some black fingers in the frame.
What's up, T?
All right, anyway, the Muse says hello, apparently. It's always fun when you have, two black fingers just pop out of nowhere. Sorry. That's what she said. Or he said? I don't know. Teach her own. Either way, right? I mean, I've gone both ways. I mean, I know you probably haven't, but, You're my lesbian, bitch. Yeah. The lesbian in charge. All right. We're going to bring on our amazing featured guest all the way from the Boulet Brothers Dragula, season 666 on Shudder, on Amazon Prime. We've got Auntie Heroine in the house.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on here with us tonight. I'm super excited to have you. Oh my God. Ever since I just saw your season, I was like, I'm a huge Auntie fan.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Don't mind me being bald. I didn't have time to put my wig on.
That's perfectly all right. I think you're the only person so far who's actually been in drag on the show. It's hilarious.
Yeah. That's good to know.
Well, I know you have a show tonight. And where can you tell everybody where you're performing tonight? In case there's anybody watching that wants to see you?
Yeah, I'm performing at my home bar at the Office nightclub in Rockford, Illinois. We're bringing back my regular monthly show, Auntie's Panties. It's every first Saturday of the month at 11 p.m. It's super cute. I actually ended the show a year ago because of Dragula and, all the things that were going to ensue, but I'm really excited to bring it back. It's really fun being able to travel and tour and perform, but sometimes, especially being a Dragula ghoulie, you're kind of expected to be a certain thing. And, you have your kind of bag of tricks that you want to show off. And sometimes it's nice to be at home where I can just be a clown and have fun.
Oh, I love it. That's great. I'm glad. I mean, it's always nice to have a place that you can run to where everybody gets you. They understand the assignment. They know what's up,
Yes, definitely.
That's amazing. It sounds like a great venue too.
Oh yeah, it's a historic LGBT establishment. We've been
wow.
around for a very long time. I want to say there's something special about it being like either one of the oldest gay bars in Illinois or oldest something in Illinois. I can't remember, but it's really special. I know like 20 years ago and beyond, you know, if you wanted to go to the office, you'd just be, oh, well, I'm staying late at the office tonight, honey. And you're not lying.
Very true. Very, very true. You're not lying.
And I really love it because we're so I don't think a lot of the drag performers realize this here, but we are so spoiled. We have an amazing dressing room with floor to ceiling mirrors, and we have our own show lounge in the upstairs. So a lot of queens were used to performing, you know, on the club, on the club floor, just, you know, regular bars. But we have a show lounge with a spotlight and a runway. I love it. I'm very spoiled.
That's amazing.
That's fantastic.
That is great. I don't even think I've seen anything like that in LA. Have you? No, not that I'm aware of. Even in WeHo. So you've been, I know you've been touring.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys just do like the US, or did you guys get to go over anywhere else, being, you know, top 3?
Well, the Dragula tour hasn't even started yet. So we have our Dragula tour from August 21st. The first date is Chicago, so I'm really excited. And we're going for an entire month. I think we finish out on September 26th in Seattle, I believe. So that's going to be the top 3. And then we're going to have 3 guests, like regional guests from season 6. So Pi will be on the East Coast, Jaharia will be Midwest, and Majesty will be West Coast. But before that, I've been, me and Jaharia did a tour around the Midwest in December. And then I did a little Michigan tour out here with a couple of the monsters, like Midwest monsters. And pretty much everything else has just been creating what I can using my networking, doing a bunch of, I don't know, just traveling all over the place. I've been super grateful to be able to go all over the place, places I've always wanted to go. So.
That's awesome. We got, let's see, Ken Germain says, love you, Auntie.
I love Ken. Ken is one of my biggest supporters.
We're so lucky to have you in Rockland at the office.
Rockford.
I love it. What's up, Desiree Dick in the house?
Oh my God, I love Desiree. Desiree is my girl.
Desiree will be on the show next Saturday.
Oh, you are gonna love her. She is so kooky and fun, and she has so much to offer. God, she's one of my favorite people.
We love.
I know. I can't wait. I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna talk about Chicken Gate.
Oh my God, yes. And let me tell you, I love Dragula to death. I've been watching it since the beginning. It's always been a big inspiration. But so often we have people on there that maybe haven't had the chance to perform or are maybe a little bit green to the stage.
Right.
Definitely a lot of incredible like makeup and FX artists. But there's definitely been, and this is not a read, but I mean like there's all kinds of artists, but there has been a lack overall in like stage performers that like know how to like, you know, boots the house down. And let me tell you, Desiree Dick is one of the best performers that have ever been on that show.
Oh my God, level of filth. Oh my God. Like I had not seen like filth done like that. And like you gagging yourself and making yourself throw up and shit. Like,
oh God, I hated that. You know,
I know, but that was hardcore.
So the reason I did that was one of my biggest fears is vomiting. There's
Okay.
there's nothing super deep about it. It's just I hate it.
Yeah.
I will do anything possible to avoid it. It hurts.
Yeah.
It makes me uncomfortable, everything. And so I said, well, Dragula means everything to me. I need to face my fears. So when we
Right.
had that filth challenge, I was like, I'm going to make myself vomit and I'm going to face my fears. And I did it. And the moment I got off that stage, I took off the entire gown, went straight to the bathroom, and started bawling my eyes out. I was like, oh, I can't believe I did that. Oh my God, it was so horrible. It was so horrible. I hated it.
But that's amazing, though, that you just were like, fuck this. I want this. I'm going for it. And you just like got past your fears and got out of your head for a moment and just fucking went for it. And that's amazing.
Yeah, and I think that's what Dragula is about. It's not just about talent or being, reaching the three tenets. I've always felt like Dragula is about pushing yourself past your limits, this is the chance to do it. This was a dream come true to be on this show. So I'm like, bitch, I'm going to fucking do it.
Hell yeah. I was telling T that it's like Fear Factor meets the other show.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
RuPaul's Hag Race.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, Drag Race. Anyway, it's like a cross between Fear Factor meets Drag Race. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, it really is. And it's so much fun too. Every single episode, there is a fright feat earlier in the episode where we have to do some wild stuff, whether we're eating something disgusting, we're being electrocuted. We have to do some sort of physical atrocity. And then we do the floor show. And then whoever makes bottom 2 or more will then have to go up for extermination, which is just another fear factor. Oh my God. It is wild. Although some of it is really fun.
It looked like it. Like, you know what I mean? Oh my God. Like, trust me, I'm going to be talking to Desiree about jumping out of fucking airplane. That bitch is hardcore. Just went for
that
it.
Bitch, I tell you what, I was so mad because I was like, I have no fears about that. I've always wanted to jump out of an airplane. But it's like, it's so fucking expensive to do. So I'm like, I can't really just sacrifice that amount of money. But I'm just like, God, I want to go so bad. And these bitches being afraid of that shit. I'm like, girl, what? I'm like, give it to me. I'll do it. I'll do it for you. And I remember Desiree came back and she gave me, because they gave her a coupon to go again. So it was a super cheap way to go back. And I was like, oh, and I really wanted to do it. But alas, I never did.
Damn. That was crazy though. I loved it when you did the lip sync okay, first of all, I have one question. Were you kind of miffed when they did a musical versus the fucking Monsters of Rock?
Absolutely not. Honestly, I just feel like they had done everything with Monsters of Rock, and I was kind of like, well, they're obviously going to keep doing it. It is like a solid Dragula moment. But they've done it so many different ways that I was like, I don't want. And when I heard musical, I was like, I was so gagged. I was so excited. And yes, things might have gone down the way they went down during the musical. However, I will say I was really happy with the edit because they did show when I was singing to Alaska, I knew every fucking word. So I was so ready. I was so prepared for that. And honestly, I love anything theatrical and so I was really excited for it. Obviously, things went down a certain way, which is fine. It is what it is. And honestly, I love my girl Vivi. We were happy to rot together, but it was wild. It was I was excited about it. I personally did not. I think Monsters of Rock is awesome, but I was at this point I was kind of over it. So I was really excited they were trying to mix it up. However, I don't think you could give me any sum of money to rewatch that episode again. What the fuck? Oh my God.
I loved Alaska because like Alaska, the other franchise doesn't work with her anymore because she's got the podcast with Willem, which is fucking stupid to me.
I'm sure there's probably a lot of reasons, but honestly,
I'm sure there probably are, but whatever.
I think Alaska is in the right. Alaska is amazing, and I love her forever. So honestly, if a show is not going to work with Alaska, I think it says something more about the show than Alaska.
They're dumb. They're dumb. Because Alaska is fucking amazing. I love Alaska.
Truly.
She is badass. And I think she's perfect for Dragula World, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Even if you know, yeah.
I was very, very excited. Like when they said Alaska, I was gagged. Like I was so starstruck, but I, didn't want to be like a brown nosing little bitch. So I was just like, so happy to be here, but oh my God, I was fucking gagging. Oh God, she's such an incredible talent. I've been looking up to her for years and years.
Oh, what was it like when you had to do the lip sync to Dolly's song? I love Dolly, by the way. That was a great song.
Oh, yeah. Love Dolly. So this is what I'll say. I got off the stage and we got 2 takes. We did a lip sync just to get us in the vibe. So we lip sync it and we nailed it. We were perfect. And then we did the live singing version. And obviously we failed that pretty miserably. And I remember getting off stage and just being like, I just made a complete ass of myself. I was so mortified. I was so bummed. I was inconsolable for 30 minutes. I remember Vivi or somebody coming up to me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Vivi was just, trying to help me out. And I was just staring into the void. I felt so bad. I just needed time to process. But then I thought about it and I'm like, you know what? I came here to show the world who Auntie Heroine is and what I can do. And then I go on stage and instead I say, I'm old and I shit myself. And honestly, that is the fucking most hilarious thing ever because anytime I do a show, it's always fly by the seat of my pants. I like to say that I am professionally unprofessional. I love it when shit fucks up because it's so much fun and it's just everybody laughs. And so I thought about it and I'm like, you know what? I'm actually really happy about this. And I fully thought I was going home because I really thought I bombed it. So I was just like, you know what? We were all kind of, in our conspiracy theorist ideas, thinking, we're speculating all the time what's going to happen. And we all kind of thought there would be a lip sync. So I was just like, you know what? If it's going to be a lip sync, that is fucking awesome because then I get to show the world what Auntie Heroine can do. And so I would honestly, after my 30 minutes of just staring into the void, I was like, you know what? This is fucking hilarious. This is a meme. I am so proud of what I did, and I can't wait to be able to lip sync because, in Drag Race, the main thing is you lip sync for your life, and everybody does it. They have it every episode, and that's kind of the thing. And sometimes that is a very iconic moment. Some of the most memorable moments are people that were in the bottom that had an incredible lip sync. So I was just like, well, Dragula's had 1 lip sync so far. I get to be the second lip sync. That's really fucking cool. So I was really excited. And it being that Dolly song, I am a big, the biggest genre of music that I listen to is emo. So emo, screamo, anything like that. Nice. I'm a huge fan of that. So I was like, oh, this is going to be so great. I think the only thing I was disappointed in was when watching it on TV, every time both me and Vivi would go down on the ground or do some sort of gag, the light on the stage went black. And I was like, what? So on Drag Race, it's just lit, right? Because you want to see all the moves they're doing. And then but when Dragula was doing it, we have flashing lights, we have different colors, we have fog, we have all kinds of things going on. And then we have blackouts. And I'm like, girl, Girl, what? Like every time we did a gag, it went black, and I was like,
damn.
Who did this? Who is it? I know that Swansula was back there, and she's like, "Oh, Auntie's about to do something cute." Blackout. No.
Yes.
I was like, "Girl, what?" But I was still happy with it. I was proud of all of it. But I was like, "Damn." Well, whenever I go back on that show, they better give me a moment. They better give me a moment.
Well, the great thing is, you made it to top 3, so it's like you didn't have to get murdered off at the end of an episode. I mean, at least that's a good thing.
Yeah, good. But honestly, okay, here's the thing. I think we should all get to do a death scene, because death scenes are like kind of the most fun and one of the most iconic things from the show is every time somebody goes out, we get to do this campy, stupid, ridiculous death scene. Like each one was so much fun this season. And I'm like, okay, yes, I'm so grateful, so glad that I got to be top 3. But I'm like, girl, if I didn't get that crown, I should at least get some sort of goofy ass death scene, because that would have been fun.
That would have been.
But you know what that means? That just means that
you're that
amazing. Guess I might have to come back.
Ooh, Titans.
Well, maybe. We'll see. I'll think about it.
I think you would be amazing for Titans season 2. Oh,
thank you. Oh my God. I would love that. That'd be so much fun to be around all the Judys and, destroy them.
I love it. I think you would be amazing with that crown on your head.
Thank you. Yeah, I think next time, instead of wearing a mohawk, I'll just go bald, so the crown can just sit there.
Exactly. I was really it was an amazing top 3. And I was like, oh my God, I was rooting for you, but then I was also rooting for, I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be her. It's going to be Asia. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Ah! And I was like, I was like right there.
I know, it was wild. It was a lot of people have said it's one of the closest top 3s that Dragula's had. And I agree. I think everybody was so incredible. I'll say Asia has one of the most loving, beautiful, charismatic, and just infatuating personalities ever. And maybe I'm biased. She's my favorite person in the world.
Dude, she's got that it thing, that it factor that not
she does.
Everyone has. Not everybody has that.
She is incredible, and then she has such an iconic face. I love her. And then Gray is like, I cannot express enough how much I have learned from Gray. My drag has changed so much, and my art style and the way that I approach projects. Because I got my BFA in ceramics and sculpture, so I've been doing sculpture and art my whole life, and it's so wonderful to be around another artist like him, who just we can just sit there working on stuff. He's like, oh, how do you do this? And I show him oh, how do you do this? And he showed, it's just, we collaborated so much, and it was so wonderful to work with him, and also just getting to know him. He really was like a brother to me. So, and then don't get me started on his drag. I think if I was not on the show and I was just an audience member watching, I think Gray probably would have been my favorite. I just, the monsters, the ghouls, he does a little imp, orc, goblin so fucking well. I love it. And I can't wait to see what he does for the tour.
Oh my God, just the fucking artistry, phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Just, oh my God, the stuff that he created on that show. Oh my God.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Minus the ghost train.
You mean when he had to get electrocuted over and over again?
Yeah, when he was fucking Colonel Sanders out there trying to rob a... I'm like, girl, what the fuck is this shit? Well, they want to drag, bitch. What the fuck?
It makes you wonder.
It's okay.
It makes you wonder. Oh
And
my
it's
God.
nothing he doesn't know. I always poke a little fun.
It makes you kind of like sometimes it like makes you think in the back of your head like if Majesty hadn't self-eliminated, which was fucking weird, then it makes you wonder like who would have gone home that episode instead of them. You know what I mean? So it just kind of makes you think like, oh my God, you know?
Yeah, I think yeah, it is tough. I think it probably would have been Vivi, and that's no shade against her because she's so fucking amazing.
She
But
is amazing.
I think that just the way that the run was up until that point, it probably would have made more sense for Vivi.
Yeah.
However, if we were just looking at that one challenge, I probably would have sent Gray home, honestly. But that's no tea. That's no tea. I mean, he knows that. I'm not like reading or anything.
You
But
didn't like his cowboy?
Listen, in theory, when he was describing it to me and he showed me all of it, I'm like, this is so fucking cute. And then I saw it and I was like, that is a choice and a half, Henny. But honestly, we all have those moments, and I think that it makes us more relatable and humanizes us a little bit more, especially if we're as good as Gray Matter, if we're that fucking amazing and like ethereal. It's nice to knock a bitch down a peg so that we can be like, oh, you're still human. You don't do everything perfect, just like me and some of the choices I made at times.
I loved what was that like on the Dungeons and Dragons or Dungeons and Drag Queens or whatever, like challenge when you were fighting against Gray Matter and you were both dressed like, oh my God, the artistry between your outfit and his outfit was my favorite look. Like as a pairing, you guys looked so fucking phenomenal. What was that challenge?
That was so much fun. I knew I wanted Gray. Like when we were all like, oh, okay, who do you pick? And I was like, Gray. I was like, I will not let anybody take this bitch away from me because I'm like, I know the level of artistry he is, and we had already gotten really close on the show. It didn't show on camera, but behind the scenes we had gotten really close. And I knew that for something like this, I didn't know what he was doing, but I was like, I want to be with Gray no matter what. I won't let anybody take this. And when I saw his stuff, like I'm a big nerd, big Lord of the Rings fan, and he looked like an orc straight out of the Lord of the Rings. And my main inspiration was World of Warcraft. So like I feel like we were just like a perfect pairing of two like genres within fantasy. It was so much fun because they didn't show this. They did like a different sound over us, but like the whole time like I'm like making up I was like making up like languages and sounds, and I was like kind of doing a mix of like orc and ent from the Lord of the Rings and just be like like I was saying all these weird things, and then Gray is over there going like like we're the whole time we were not afraid to make noises. Like even since the beginning, I think I was the first or second person to shoot the promo picture, and everybody was like kind of like waiting, and they could kind of hear from the background, but that picture of me just like this, I was literally laughing. Like I was like screaming and laughing because I feel like the best way to emote and to like show something over camera is to really do it. So like every time I was on stage, I would be laughing or screaming or growling or making noises. And I did the same thing there because I wanted that to come through, like just like the emoting. And he was not afraid to do that either. So we were just making all these weird noises back and forth. And usually they would be like, okay, go. All right, cut. Like, okay, let's try this again. Okay, go. cut, and there was a point in time where we had rehearsed like certain things, and we'd come and I would swing this way, he would swing that way. And after that, they didn't yell cut. So we were like, do we keep going? And we don't want them to edit us to look like we're unprofessional. So we were like, all right. So we just kept going, but we didn't choreograph anymore. So we did another swing, and his bludgeon hit my staff and shattered it and ruined the spider web. And the way they do it is the very next day we had to do all of the photos, like the photos that you see of us. So I had to like fix that whole thing that night before before we got into drag again. So like it was wild, but yeah, it was so much fun doing that with him, and I'm so glad that it was me and him. And then obviously there's no one else I would have wanted to share that win with outside of Gray. So that was really awesome.
Damn. It must have been nice to kind of knock Asia down a peg on that one.
Girl, I didn't have to knock her anywhere. She did that herself. She did that herself. Okay. She is the first one. She is the first one to admit that too. I know if she watches this, she's gonna go, it's true.
I love her. I mean, she was just like so like, oh my god, all her looks are just amazing. Her concepts are incredible. And
her fucking bow and arrow. Bitch.
She will forever go down as a horrible archer.
Not the worst thing.
No, definitely not. Please, that's the worst thing she ever does is try to do an archer thing with a bow and arrow on something and fucks that up. Hey, then she's fine. She's fine. She'll be just fine. I don't think she's gonna need that as a life skill, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. With the state of the country, she might need it soon.
Yeah. Well, you just find a gun. I'm sure they're playing around somewhere. I don't know.
In America, yeah, they're growing from trees.
I just wish that bullet hadn't missed last year.
Girl, there was no motherfucking bullet. That shit was so fucking staged and fake. And that motherfucker getting up there going, whoo, and then the very next fucking day, he don't got a scar on, and then all of his fascist followers have a fucking thing on that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I am so done with the American fascist party. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean the Republican Party. I am done with that
I'm
shit.
Right there with
I am so over it. I have had family members, I have had friends, I have known people that are Republican, and my thing is, we are all from different walks, and we cannot be the same. We all have to have differences. That is what makes the world a wonderful place. But I'm sorry, when you are trying to take away the rights of other people, and you are trying to use fear to demonize a group or multiple groups of marginalized people that already have it difficult because of the way that this country was created and formed. No. I'm sorry. At this point in time, if you are still on that train, you are fascist and you are ignorant and you are willfully do not want to look at your neighbors and loved ones that are anything different than you. I'm sorry.
Possibly.
I am over it.
Homophobic, transphobic, bigoted, racist and all that. Most of them are like that. And that's why I'm not saying every Republican out there on this planet is a racist and a sexist and a whatever, like, and a homophobic. I'm not saying every one of them are. I'm just saying maggots are, which is like what I call his followers, maggots.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
What I will say is for a very long time, I defended people that I cared about very much so because they were very close to me. Yeah. And the way I defended them was saying that, listen, I don't believe that all Trump supporters are evil or bad. I think there are a lot of people that, the reason why he has gained popularity is because he has been able to, it's fear mongering. He has been able to take people's fears and manipulate them. He has been able to promise things that he will never give. Pretty much he has pitted other impoverished people who may have a little bit more of a majority in this country because they are white, cisgender, and male. But he has pitted them against others through fear. and through
Mhm.
ignorance. And for a long
Yeah.
time, I was like, listen, you know, there was a point in time where possibly maybe you could consider thinking that a Republican votes Republican because of financial responsibility or fiscal
Yeah.
bullshit or whatever. And I'm like, okay, fine. Listen, we can have differences of opinion. That is okay.
Yeah.
But now it's at the point of difference of opinion is whether or not you like pancakes or French toast. We can have differing opinions on that. But bitch, if you are
Yeah.
trying to take away my motherfucking rights, no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but read a
Amen.
fucking book, okay? The way that
Amen.
these people have demonized CRT, critical
Mhm.
race theory, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
How are we eliminating that in schools?
Yeah.
That is so fucking
Exactly.
important. And
Yeah.
I you know what? I'm gonna get on a soapbox. So we know how we
Hey,
believe. We believe
hey.
a certain way. But honestly, at
Yeah.
this point,
I
if you are
agree.
still voting Republican and you are still Trump, or you are still voting for Trump and supporting Trump,
Yeah.
you are willfully ignorant and you do
Yep.
not care about
Yeah.
LGBTQIA plus people. You do not care about
Yep.
black people. You do not care about brown
Yep.
people. You do not care about women. And that goes for people that are women. That goes for people that are black and brown that are still voting for this motherfucker. So I'm
Yeah.
sorry. At this point, I don't have any energy for that. All of my energy is focused on keeping my trans and non-binary siblings alive, because honestly, that is our biggest
Amen.
threat right now is suicide. And
Amen.
then whatever the fuck is about to roll down this crapshoot political pipeline.
Yeah. The next 3.5 fucking years are going to be a nightmare. But unfortunately, T ticks 3 of the boxes. She's a female, she's black, and she's a lesbian. So she ticks 3 of those boxes. So that's like triple fucked. I'm sorry. I hate that. And I'm pansexual. I do choose to be married to a man at this time. That's my truth right this moment. But you know what I mean? I haven't always been with guys. I mean, you know what I mean?
Well, and I think, you know, if people, sorry to interrupt, if people could just realize that we're all fucking humans.
Yeah.
We're all just people doing our thing, because, you know, there's another group of people that that is often overlooked, and that is the neurodivergent and autistic community.
Yes, most definitely.
It's like that is something that I have that is something that I have experienced after being on the show, is the amount of neurodivergent and autistic people that have reached out to me and thanked me for the representation and the support.
That's
and
wonderful.
I've been on my journey of discovering, you know, where I fit into the spectrum of autism and neurodivergence. And I'm definitely there, let me tell you. But like, it's just, you know, there's so many, oftentimes those people are demonized. They're seen as like inferior, or, you know, a lot of people don't want to be diagnosed because it's a double-edged sword. You might be able to get accommodations. You might be able to learn more about yourself. However, then the law is against you. You could have your rights taken away in a courtroom because you are seen as unfit because somebody had a target on your back. And then God forbid what is going to happen down the line with these fascists and the way that they are going. And it's like, I think what people don't realize is that we're pretty much all autistic. We're pretty much all neurodivergent. We're pretty much all somewhere on the spectrum of sexuality and gender. But because of the way that we are taught growing up, and because of the way that people like to other each other, how they like to create inferiority in otherness, and then superiority in whatever they deem as themselves. It's silliness, because I mean, come on, we all know about the GOP whatever convention or something that happened in Milwaukee when the Grindr servers went down because there were so many people on it. Like,
we already know. We know.
It's like
we know.
This whole party of people, there are people that are just trying to fight against themselves, because so many of them are gay, so many of them fall somewhere on the spectrum of gender, but they will refuse to look at it. because they have been
Yes, of
taught it is
course.
evil, because it has been
Yes.
demonized, because they have
Yes.
used Christianity to demonize it. And Christianity
Yep.
is not evil. Christianity is
No.
not bad. There are plenty of
No.
beautiful, wonderful Christians
Yes.
out there. Some of the
Amen.
best support systems I've ever had were Christian people.
Amen.
But this whole American fascist party has weaponized Christianity and things like that to push us into a direction where these people feel like they cannot be their authentic selves, and then they hate people like us because we do have the power and the courage and the bravery and the community to be our authentic selves, and they don't like that. But if they could just shut the fuck up, look at themselves and be like, hey, there's nothing wrong with this, and most of us are autistic in some way, you know, like it's just like, girl, like we're all just human. Just calm the fuck down and like you know, share a little and kill the billionaires. That too.
I mean, please, there's what how many did they say? I was watching a TV show. There was like only like 48 billionaires or some bullshit. There's like very few like people that are in that category, especially in the United States. So it's like there's a million times more of us than there are of them. So they can go fuck themselves. That's all I have to say.
That's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying.
Amen.
Okay.
Exactly.
Anyways, I don't want to take up the whole podcast just being political. I am like, you get me on the soapbox, I will go off.
Look,
I am all about that. Everywhere I go, I am giving these speeches.
Lesbian. But she knows me. T knows how I am too. I'm extremely political. I will go on for hours about the orange fucking Dumpy the clown. Anyway, we're gonna leave it alone because I get triggered by talking about these fucking retards.
And ultimately, that is our task. Not only to spread the word and uplift our communities, but also it is trying to find time for our mental health. And sometimes that means stepping away from the news, taking a step back from social media, from what is going on in the world, from the orange Nazi. You know, sometimes it's like you can't focus on things like that. We have, and that's what's wonderful about drag is, you know, it's a place where it's a place that is about validation. It is a place that is very political, but it is also a place to potentially, you know, forget about your problems and have fun and enjoy ourselves. And that's what drag has been for decades and decades, for centuries. This is a place for us to be able to find our community, to step away and to be able to laugh and enjoy ourselves in the midst of oppression.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being a representative for the autistic community and for voicing that. And I love that. I have a grandson that's autistic, and my son was a special needs child. So I understand the complexities of it. And I have mental disorders. I don't know if I necessarily have any learning disabilities or any kind of autistic self, but I know what that's like. I have a lot of friends who have autistic children. So I commend you for being a voice for that community.
Well, one thing that I like to say is that so often the idea of autism is pitted into this social awkwardness, this inability to be able to socialize and or recognize social cues. Some people with autism do have that, but that is not the number one characteristic trait of autism, because there are plenty of people that are very socially adapt, you know, like that they can. They're very good at like interacting with people, and it's so a lot of times those people are overlooked as not, you know, and then they're deemed as normal or whatever. And then those people end up having to mask, and masking is such an exhausting, debilitating thing. You know, like trying to act normal. So it's like, it's a lot that I've been learning in the last year, and I'm really grateful for the people that have been there, including my therapist. Go to therapy. So it has been interesting, an interesting road, and I guess now that I'm at a place where I can, claim that identity and speak for it, I'm like, well, I got the voice. I might as well.
I completely understand. I mean, I had to pretend to be straight for decades, so I get it. I didn't come out of the closet until I was 40, so I completely understand. My whole family is extremely religious. My parents, my grandparents, my aunts, uncles, cousins, blah, blah, blah. It's like you just kind of like hide everything. Like, oh, don't look at a female. Don't like act different in any way, especially around your family. It's very scary. I don't like it.
And what I like to say is we have to spend our entire adult lives, our entire competent lives, unlearning the shit that has been taught to us for so long, unlearning these traumas that have now written this story about us that is incorrect, and it's like we're having to rewrite these things, and it's very difficult. But I think the silver lining and the special positive thing about that is being able to be queer, being able to be any sort of marginalized group. You get a perspective that people in the majority or people with an extreme level of privilege never get.
Yeah.
And I think that's very special. I think especially for the LGBTQIA plus community, we are forced to acknowledge and learn and understand sexuality and gender, understanding that sexuality does not exist without first identifying gender. Because when we're talking about homosexual, oh, you're attracted to the same gender. Okay, well, what is the gender then? And so it's like we spend a good chunk of our adult lives focusing on and understanding communication through gender and through sexuality, understanding what it means to be a good partner. It's like so many things that a lot of straight and cisgender people, not all of them, but many of them, don't even consider or start to grapple with until maybe they're in their 40s, or sometimes never. Never. And so, it takes a very long time for us to kind of like, I guess, mature or get to a place where we are stable. But it's really special then because we have a perspective. And honestly, and this is something I learned taking sociology classes, is that once the veil is lifted, it's not going back.
Yeah.
You can't, it's like you will never watch a movie the same way again, because you will count the amount of people of color, and you will count the amount of white people. You will count the amount of representation when you are watching movies, TV, when you are listening to music. You are hearing what people are saying. When you watch a politician talk, you are listening to what they are talking about, and that they are not talking about you. So it's like once that veil is lifted, it's like we like to say ignorance is bliss. Oh yes, it is, honey. It must be real fucking nice to sit up there in your white fucking tower and look down upon everybody and be happy and be like, well, I don't know why they can't get to it. They must be lazy. They must be deviant. They must be sick in the head. No, honey. We are much more
assured of ourselves.
We are much more ourselves. We're much more in tune with the world, and we understand things a hell of a lot more than you ever will. Okay. So I think that is something that's, whenever we are struggling or feeling like, oh my God, shit sucks, it's like, actually what's really special is that we have a unique perspective, and we will not have the veil thrown over our eyes again. No, I
agree.
We are awake and we are here.
I agree. I've oftentimes thought maybe I'm either non-binary or gender fluid. I you know what I mean? Because like, there's some days I wake up and I feel more like a dude. I feel like, sports and trucks and motorcycles. And then some days I wake up like very feminine, and I want to put on my
Mhm.
eyelashes and my makeup, and I want to wear a dress. You know what I mean? And like, so it's like it fucks with my head sometimes. Like, and then I'm always worried, like, well, if I, you know, like, hey, I'm non-binary or I'm gender fluid or whatever, and then people like, oh, you're just jumping on a bandwagon. Oh, like you're 52, like, why, you know, like, oh, now you're coming out as these things. Sometimes I just think about that, and I'm like, I don't know. It fucks with my head.
Well, I encourage you to continue to think about those things, because ultimately, that is our experience. Like if we didn't have, if we could just be humans and nobody cared and it didn't really matter and we could do whatever we wanted, we wouldn't have to have any labels at all. Every day you wake up, you get to feel the way you feel. You get to be the way that you want to be. It is as simple as deciding to wear a t-shirt or a dress for that day.
Yes.
You know, and I think a lot of people want to get down on that because they're uncomfortable with themselves and they're not happy with, you know, well, I'm following these gender rules. I'm doing, well, yeah, sure. I might, because I can't tell you how many times I've heard people be like, well, yeah, I've definitely felt things before, but I'm not going to just like give into those, you know. It's just like, well, I don't need, you know, it's like people have their own issues. They need to focus on themselves. And if they don't want to respect others and their journey, they don't need to be in your life. I think what gets me is, girl, why you got to be up in my business? Why you got to be up in my rights? Like, just, we should be able to just be ourselves and do what we want. And it doesn't really matter. And honestly, if those people want to say that we're messed up in the head or that we're being childish, well, good. Children have a hell of a lot more fun in life than they do. Why do we have to take life so goddamn seriously? Let's just have fun.
I say that all the time. I'm just a big kid. I'm just like I still like comic books and cartoons and you know, like I'm like a big kid. I'm that sci-fi math nerd who played Dungeons and Dragons, who played Magic the Gathering, who did like all the nerdy fucking things that, you know what I mean? I'm just that person, but I'm also that badass bitch who rides motorcycles and drives big fucking trucks, and you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I'm always that mixture. I always liked that.
Yeah. And that's what makes it so special and beautiful. And honestly, it's like, that's what makes the world wonderful, is that we're all different, that we all have our own things, and that should be celebrated. That should be something that is uplifted and loved.
Yeah, we just need to be happy. That's all there is.
Amen.
That's what I'm saying. And you know what? If you are upset or you are mad or you are depressed, don't take it out on everybody else.
Exactly.
Go to therapy.
I loved how you said, don't lump me in with those Chicago girls. I'm from Rockford, Illinois. I loved it.
Well, yeah, I think I understand it and I get it, you know, especially if you're not from Illinois. It's like, oh, well, you know, Chicago, it makes sense. I'm like 2 hours away from Chicago. It's not that big of a deal, but ultimately, I wanted to show the pride that I have for my hometown. I lived in Chicago for 4 years, and there were so many wonderful things. I met so many wonderful people. I had a great experience in Chicago. I really do love the city, but I was never appreciated or loved or respected in the way that I deserved until I came back to Rockford. And I just saw, you know, it's like we have one gay club in like 70 miles. And, you know, it's very, you know, in Chicago, you have 17 clubs on one block. You know, it's like you can go anywhere. And because of that, you'd think it's like, oh, everybody can do everything. But honestly, it's a lot more segregated then, because people can go to this bar, people can go to that club, people could, you know, where we're from and where most LGBT things are across this country are small towns and cities where there's maybe just one establishment or maybe no establishment, and people have to make things work. And I think there is there is more of a sense of community in smaller areas because it's life or death, because we need these areas. This is what keeps us going. And you know, we might have some petty differences or squabbles, but ultimately we try our hardest to get together and get past them. Not everybody will. I mean, we're human, but it's like we have to, because this is our only space, and we do uplift and care for our other community members because this is our lifeline. This is what it meant 10, 20, 30 years ago. Like, we only had each other, and in a lot of small places we still do. And I think that at least for myself, but I think a lot of people, we measure success with fame. You know, like, oh, how famous they are, that's their success, and that's their talent. And that's how good they are, is if they make it on TV or if they go here or there. But ultimately, I think that's just because our main way of being able to see success or see amazing people is on the TV, because we don't get to see it often in small areas or locally. But honestly, some of the most talented drag performers in the country will never be on TV, and they are only in small towns across America, but they have children, or they have a family that they're taking care of. They have parents they're taking care of. They are in some sort of financial struggle, or they are they're coming out of addiction, or, you know, it's like we have so much going on in our lives in small areas. To be able to drop everything and to move to a big city, to be able to drop everything and dump your savings, which is what I did, into a TV show, that is called privilege. And not everybody has that. A lot of people you know, they can't make it out there, but it's just like, that doesn't take away from their talent, and that doesn't take away from how amazing they are. And I think me saying that I am from Rockford and not Chicago is nothing against nothing against Chicago. And it is a love note to Rockford, but it is also a love note to all of the small communities across the country where the majority of drag takes place. In all of the small towns, the small cities, the small communities where community is the only thing that they have. And it is very important, you know, like, and I just hope that me standing up for my community and showing how much I love them, I hope that that can then maybe translate to others across the country and think, well, then if she can do it, maybe I can do it too. And if she is going to stand behind her small community, you know what? How about instead of trying to pack up everything and move to a big city, or instead of trying to go somewhere that's going to give you something, why don't you give something to your community? Because we don't have community without people that are willing to take those strides and make those efforts to make something happen. So I think I've had a few people reach out to me that they've talked about that. So I'm really glad, but I'm hoping that more people, you know, are going to hear that message and be like, okay, I'm going to stand behind my community. I want people to be proud of where they're from.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being on the show tonight. I really appreciate you being here, especially in drag and just incredibleness that you are. And everybody, please go watch the Boulet Brothers Dragula season 666 on Shudder, which is on Amazon Prime, so that you can see Auntie Heroine and all of the craziness that goes on in that season. You're going to love it. Please go check it out. And where can everybody find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at Auntie Heroine. That's AUNTIE, and Heroine HEROINE, like the female superhero. You can also find me on TikTok, which I'm barely starting to do, at I think it's Auntie _hero_queen. I think that's because they wouldn't do heroine. They didn't like that.
Yeah, I got you.
So you can find me Auntie Heroine across the board, and some other places. I'm also on YouTube now, Auntie Heroine. I got nothing on there yet. It's just little things here and there, a couple of videos, but I do plan on starting a project soon.
Oh, I'm so excited. Well, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. We really appreciate you. And thank you so much to the lesbian, Tashina Saunders, aka Silent Giggles, for being on the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We appreciate you. Have a great night. And next week, come on back for Desiree Dick.
Yes. Thank you. Mwah.
Thank you. Have a good night. Have a great show.